risk it, yeah, take it.
Riding out to champion trainer Paul Nicholls carries with it some degree of pressure, especially when you consider the ammunition at his disposal. Masterminded, Kauto Star and Denman all hold big chances at the Cheltenham Festival, but Nicholls is champion trainer for a reason. His attention to detail, his hard work and dedication. That is why I'm putting the finishing touches to Collognes.
I can see why you retired. That woke him up. You could have read him masterminded this morning. It's good in here. They make some bloody think and have to sort themselves out.
It's great because you never meet them on the same stride, do you?
No. Harry, if you'd go and take Luke and go and canter up the hill.
Fascinating, actually, just watching those horses when they're going around that outdoor school, how much work they're actually putting into it going around there. You don't realise, and for the riders, you don't realise how unfit you get. Afterwards, you've got that steep hill, and it really, although Collognes, obviously, he's race fit, it really makes the horse blow, and I just like the way that it's not, although it's a very stiff gallop and they go, you know, uphill steeply, it's not actually, you're not over-facing horses, some bends and things they're going around. So, you know, when a horse looks up, it's not intimidating them, and you can see why they're fit. How often would you school, say, an old horse like Collognes?
I mean, he hasn't had that many schools recently, but up until when he runs now, he probably would school every week. I mean, A, is good exercise for them because, you know, as you can see, it's plenty of work for them and they canter away afterwards, but just keeps our eye in and stretches everything, so, you know, we'd school them as much as we can.
I think it's good for the jockeys. It can maybe get my eye in as well, you know, it's hard work.
It is, yeah, it is good for the jockeys, and I say it's good for the horse and it's good exercise for them, so, you know, as much jumping practice as we can, really.
Worrying time when you think you're this close to Cheltenham. There's a lot of horses needing a prep run, and other horses you think, well, I wish Cheltenham was tomorrow. Yeah,
exactly. I think everything's had their prep runs now, probably a couple this weekend, but most of them have had their runs, and, you know, the ones that have been off for a while that are fresh, they're a lot easier because, you know, they had a nice break and you can work them as hard as you like up until when they run, so they're actually a lot easier. We've got a routine and they all work hard, but as you said, each horse you have to treat as an individual. Some will want a lot more than others and some a lot less than others. Just try and get the balance right.
Right, he's going out there with that lot working, and so there's a lot of them can. You and Raw Charm are doing a good piece of work back, all right? They're running tomorrow, but a nice blow back. Walk up and down outside, all right?
They don't have days off. They canter every day. And we don't have set work days. We work them when we feel they need work, and then they probably work hard most days without too much galloping. Just lots of hard work and lots of schooling, and you know, lots of grub and try and keep them warm. It's like you said, we try and keep it as simple as we can.
I think the most interesting thing, from my point of view, of fitness, just watching them, is I mean, they're schooling and using different muscles. On the flat gallop, they're using different, and then up this steep hill here, it winds and turns, and, you know, they're either pushing or pulling or...
Exactly, and they're having to work hard without really realising it, and it is really interval training, isn't it? It's like 4 furlongs uphill or 4 furlongs sprinting, and lots of schooling. But, you know, whether they run over 2 mile or 4 mile or whatever, they all do the same thing, really. It's just a matter of getting them fit and achieving the best fitness and freshness levels you can.
And every year, do you sort of hone things? I know you've had the gallops redone, but do you try and sort of think, I'll tell you, next season we're going to do this or that, or...
Yeah, I mean, you would keep trying to improve what we did last time. We put a new surface in the school, which you rode this morning, which has been fantastic. And again, on the hill here, we put a new surface on, we improved the drains, which eliminated all the wet patches, and, you know, it's been much better. You just got to keep trying to improve your facilities, really. I think now we've just about got it right.
Denman heads the betting for the Arkle Chase at the Cheltenham Festival, and it's easy to see why when you watch him schooling.
No, he probably won't come over that. He might do. Apart from his run at Leopardstown, where I suppose he was slightly disappointing, he's done nothing wrong, won at Aintree in Cheltenham, he's got experience at Cheltenham, just would want cut in the ground, you know, but he's again fresh and well, and very much like Kauto, we've left him off since Christmas, and I couldn't be happy with him at the moment.
As they raced up towards the line, and they hit the line, follow the plan, and Denman, it's gone to the judge.
As long as they go a good gallop, you don't have to make it with him, and I just, because, well, he wouldn't be quick enough if they went a million mile an hour. His fast run race will suit him.
Nicholls also trains us at Alex Ferguson-owned What a Friend, who bids to follow in Denman's footsteps by taking the RSA Chase en route to next year's Gold Cup.
He beat Carruthers at your top to the first time, and then he beat Ballyfitz at Cheltenham, so he's got winning form. We purposely, again, kept him fresh. He looks fab. He schooled well this morning, as you saw, and, you know, very happy with him, very happy.
Denman may have disappointed his followers at Kempton, but the old sparkle looked to have returned as he covered 4 furlongs on the flat gallop.
Right, Jess? That was better.
Yeah, I gave him a few just to wake him up.
I know, but
Yeah, well, I sort of made him look back on.
I know, and he came back on the bridle now. Good.
When he gets to do a bit of work.
No, that's much better.
Do you think that run's woken him up?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Different ball game. We can see just everything about him. He just does enough. He's just idle, and Jess has to keep at him all the time to make him do something. And I just think he wasn't nowhere near as forward as we thought he was. And he kid you a bit and got a bit lazy and a bit lethargic and everything. He ran a bit like it, didn't he? Admittedly, it's the wrong way around for him, but hopefully he's just improved a bit.
And the other thing, I mean, I was noticing a couple of the press people saying he didn't look that well, but he's just coming in his coat, isn't he? That's the thing.
He's a liver chestnut. He's a hard horse to get right in March. And his coat, and especially because we started late with him, it's just made him a little bit later. But give him 3 weeks, he'll be much better again.
I mean, if fitness was an issue, it won't be now. He looks as...
It won't be this time. I know, yes, that run definitely tightened him up enormously, and I think he'd been kidding us a bit and got lazy and probably a bit... But he's... You're pleased with him now, aren't you, Jess? That was good, that was.
I think next time I'm going to do it.
Yeah, well, we'll keep at him.
And Jess has always ridden him, hasn't she?
Jess has ridden him for 2 years, and Jess had a baby. And when did you have your baby? In August, so she didn't come back till January, so then it took a month to get her fit as well, so she just got back on now. You need to be fit to ride him out every day.
All that time you've got to keep pushing and kicking.
Ruby rode him out one day, schooled him, and it's great. You know, if you just sit on him and school him and galloping, he's brilliant. But if you had to walk him along the roads there, he kept thinking something was wrong because he was pulling up. But that's just, he's always been, from the very, wasn't he, Christian? You rode him the first time he ever ran, he was like that, wasn't he? Always been like it.
And the other thing is, you know, been a lot made of, you know, will he come back? I mean, you're not really going to, I mean, well, correct me if I'm wrong, you're not really going to know till he goes, are you?
I mean, to be fair to him, if he still ran a good race in Kempton the other day. He got tired, and that's probably, I'm sure he's just been kidding us a bit, and he wasn't as fit as we thought. And he beat Alberta's run 25 lengths and some of the others. Now, just supposing Madison, for whatever reason, hadn't run in the race, they'd have been raving about him, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
So he didn't run that badly. He didn't have that normal sparkle, but hopefully we can get that back.
Talking about Denman and how fickle everyone could be. Now it's Kauto's on everyone's lips.
Yeah, that and Neptune. I mean, end of the day, until we run, everyone's going to have opinions. You just don't know. And I'm getting more and more pleased with Denman every day.
Does Clifford still ride Kauto every day?
Rides him every day, yeah. So that's him in Big Bucks, followed by Celestial Halo and American Trilogy.
Just watching Kauto in the yard, if ever a horse is just blooming and coming right at the right time, it's him, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, definitely the right thing we've done is keep him fresh and not run him in. This time last year we'd run at Ascot and had that scare with him when he had infection in his foot, and that was all close enough to the day, to be honest with you. But now, having not run since Boxing Day, he's definitely a better horse when he's fresh. Massive difference. I mean, you saw at Haydock, having only run it down road and then a journey back, and now he just wasn't nowhere near the same horse he was the first time at Kempton. And I said before, it probably wasn't the brightest moment running him that day, but we thought we'd get away with it, and we very nearly did. But, you know, that's just proved now he's got to be fresh.
I might have my theory. I just don't think it was the real Kauto last year. For me...
No, it's funny. He started off last season at home working very lethargically. I don't know, for whatever reason, he ran OK the first day at Aintree, but just didn't travel and didn't... And he won the Betfair Chase and he won the King George. And probably one of his better runs was at Ascot. He still ran well in the Gold Cup, but he never was the same horse at home last year as he is now. Before we went to Downroll at the start of the season, he was back to working like his best. And I know he beat nothing at Downroll, but Ruby sort of confirmed what we thought, that he was back to his best. Of course, Haydock, you know, everyone sort of thought, oh, well, he's gone in. But then he was very, very good at... And if I hadn't run him at Haydock, he'd have gone to Downroll, gone to Kempton, and looked as good as ever.
Because last year we were saying, I mean, he was actually looked like he was struggling to lay up, and yet 18 months before he'd won at Tinkle Creek, so he couldn't have been, you know, it couldn't have been in top
possibly,
form.
But they did go some gallop this year. I mean, Denman went a totally different gallop to they did the year before. The year before they crawled, and so he was running away the whole way. This year they went a fast end-to-end gallop. And I mean, I wouldn't look too much into the Tingle Creek because I nicked it on bad ground that day when everything else was out of form, really. And I mean, he'd still run well in a Tingle Creek now on really heavy ground. But one thing we have learnt with him, he's not quite as pacey as he was, but he stays very well. At Kempton the other day, just halfway through the race for a minute, Ruby had to niggle him, then he's straight back on the bridle, and then he wins. He actually wins by staying on very strongly.
Neptune Collognes, you must have been delighted with that run in Ireland, and in some way left Ruby with a bit of a head scratcher.
Yeah, well, you know, he's won 3 Grade 1s now in Ireland, and who's to say who would have won when he fell in the Ericsson over Christmas? He was in the right place at the right time, and it always takes a good horse to go by him. So it was good compensation. I think probably he was nearly career best on Sunday. He kept on galloping, he jumped as well as ever. And, you know, he's improving. He's a year younger than Kauto and Denman. So, you know, if he's just improved £5 or £6 from last year, that puts him with a massive chance, because, you know, remember, Kauto only beat him ahead last year. And I'm very happy with the prep and the way he looks, and you just could not rule him out at all now. He's going the right direction.
Especially if the ground came up soft, I mean...
Yeah, I'd say that. You know, some of his better runs of late have been on better ground. He's not so in love with tested ground, especially around Cheltenham. So good to soft ground is probably his ideal for him. Would probably suit them all. All right? Well, nice, is it all right? Yeah. Two nice horses there, aren't they?
Going into the Gold Cup then, you're as confident as you were last year, but in some ways in a different way.
Confidence probably the wrong word. You know, we're happy that we got the horses in the shape we can at the moment. Obviously Denman's got to improve, but I think he might just surprise a few the way he's gone. I'm very happy with him this morning. Probably the first time I could say I'm really, really happy with him for a long while, and that's a great sign. And Kauto, we couldn't, you know, we all know, everybody knows Kauto's strengths and how he is, and he's not. We're happy with him. And Neptune, obviously, having won that on Sunday, it was ideal. So we're going into the race with 3 nice chances again. You'll never be confident in a Gold Cup because, you know, Gold Cup is what it is. But, you know, obviously again with the first, second and third from last year, we're leading chances again.
I was talking to AP the other day about Mastermind. He just said, what a machine, and he's an awesome animal, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, it's been incredibly successful for a 6-year-old in a very short time, really. I mean, this time last year, none of us thought we were going to see what we did at Cheltenham, and, you know, he's just improved enormously. You know, very good this year, won the Tingle Creek, the Victor Chanda, and, you know, bang on target to run in the Champion Chase again.
And the highest rated national hunt horse in training shows why. An exemplary round of jumping, mastermindy, class stamped all over him. Wins the Victor Chandler Chase of 2009.
Physically he's better, he's a more the finished article, and I suppose he is only 6, so he could well be, but he probably doesn't need to be. I mean, he's not going to put up a performance like he did last year unless he's, you know, was made to, if you know what I mean. But, I mean, he's great, dead simple, because you can ride him however you like. You can get a good lead or you can make the run in. And he's dead professional now, his jumping's improved, and I'm very happy with him.
Big bucks, Paul. I mean, things seem to have changed somewhat. Started off at the beginning of the year thinking he might be a Cheltenham Gold Cup horse. Now he's a World Hurdle horse.
Yeah, well, you know, just having had that fall or unseating Sam in the Hennessy, I just had a chat with Andy and said, look, I said, he's obviously got a lot of ability. His jumping might improve for a run over hurdles, and if Kauto, Denman, Neptune all get to the Gold Cup, you might not be having Ruby this year. Why don't we try him over hurdles? So that's what we did. And I said to Andy, if he wins the Cheltenham the first day, we'll go for the Cleve, and if he wins that, we'll run him in the Stairs, which is what he's done. Obviously, Casbar Bliss looks very, very impressive, and is going to be the one we've got to beat. So we need to improve on what we've done so far, but that might be possible because you wouldn't know with him how much there is in the tank.
No, because, I mean, when I say, I don't mean he's got quirks, but he's definitely got a sort of an attitude about him, isn't he?
He's like that at home. As I said earlier, a lot of these good horses have got that little bit about them. He doesn't want to be in front too soon, and he wants a bit of cover, and Ruby's the ideal man to ride him, and, you know, you just wouldn't know what there is left. So that's, you know, gives us hope that we might be able to make Casbar Bliss go, and obviously we're £8 worse off with Punchestown, so, yeah, we've got a lot to do, but... You know, we'll see. I think it's a sensible thing, and then, you know, we'll probably end up going back chasing with him next year.
So actually, who's on Ocelot? He's going down the sand, walking down my outside, all right?
Look at the Champion Hurdle. People are saying it's going to be a one-horse race with binocular, but Celestial Halo, I mean, he loves... The one thing you know, he's going to bound up that hill, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, Binocular's a worthy favourite, and he's been very impressive. It's going to be very hard to beat, but we've got to live in hope that on a different track and a different day we've got a chance, and... you know, we won the Triumph last year, having improved enormously from getting beat at Doncaster, and I left plenty to work on from winning at Sandown, and he seems to come to hand this time of year, and we're very happy with him.
I can't wait to him to jump a fence. No. Will that be the plan next year?
See how we get on it. You know, if we're sort of a few pounds short of being very top over hurdles, we will go chasing with him. But we'll just see how we get on between now and then. And you know, we're hopeful of a good run, but we do realise we got, you know, to improve a lot to beat Binocular. But you know, should never be afraid of one horse.
The Nightingale, would he?
Yeah, it's a bit of a dark horse really in the fact that he hasn't run since he won at Taunton when Forder won on, so you know the form's not in the book really, but we think a lot of him. He would have beat Chalone the first time he ran at Exeter, bar the horrific fall he had on the crossing that day. You know, obviously it's quite a tough race to put him in, but we think a lot of him, so you know, hopefully he'd run in the first 6, yeah.
And some of the handicaps as well. The horse that I rode this morning, Pocolin.
Yeah, he's going to run in the Grand Annual. You know, he'll love the hurly-burly in a fast-run race. Will suit him. Chapaturgeon, who won at Doncaster recently, is going to run in the Dewson. You know, and obviously I've plenty of horses to fill in and just look at what weight they get and decide whether we save them for Aintree. I mean, last year we did, you know, we left Pierre Lunaire and Lucid Dream away from Cheltenham and they went and won at Aintree, so that some horses will do the same.
Does it make it harder for you as well? You're a very public stable. I mean, you obviously write for the Racing Post. You're very good to us on Up the Races. You leave no stone unturned, but everyone seems to know your business. What's going on here? Yeah,
well, you know, we try and we're fairly open with what happens, and just the way we've always been, really. But sometimes it shoots you in the foot, other times it works out for the best. But you know, we try and be as open as we can be.